That is this on? Can you guys hear me? Hi, welcome. My name is Tara Mallon, and I'm the artistic director and one of the founders at Rivendell Theater Ensemble. And I want to welcome you to our 20th anniversary gala celebration. Delighted to have you all here celebrating with us tonight. You got to just enjoy a little tiny snippet from our world premiere production of Women at War, which you're going to hear a little bit more about in a couple of minutes. That was one of the opening cadences in the play that we did this past November at Rivendell Theater. I would love to take a moment to introduce my wonderful board chair. Come up here and step up on this platform with me. Tim Bresnahan. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, that's better. That's better, right? Oh, there we go. Tim and I would just like to take a moment very briefly and thank some incredibly important people that have helped put this evening together. As I was sitting about 3 days ago, I was sitting looking at our timeline, which if you haven't had a chance to see it, is over on the wall back across from the silent auction. A very dear friend of ours named Scott Verissimo spent hours putting that together with us. And I've been very stressed out. You know, galas do that too, or salons do that too. And I opened it up on my browser, and I sat and laughed and cried for about 2 hours while I was looking at that. And I thought to myself, 20 years of laughing my ass off with some of my most favorite people in the world. It's kind of a gift. And it's thanks to so many people, but most of all for you, for being here and supporting us and helping us move forward. This evening's event was brought to you by the amazing Don Wiener, one of our longtime board member, board chair, and the gala chair. He is the most generous, amazing, empathetic, kind human being known to the world. Yep, I'm going to say it, Don. And he has been in our corner for so long, and we couldn't do what we do without him. So let's give it up again for Don. And then there's Elvia Moreno and the Moreno clan. Elvia started working with us on Wrens. She designed the set. She helped us build. Somebody called me and said, there's this lady, she's an architect, she'd really like to learn about scenic design. You have any use for her? And I'm like, send her over. She's been on the board, she's been in the company, she's designed sets, she's helped put galas together and salons together and blue jean balls together, and she brings her amazing force of a family with her everywhere she goes, and we are really blessed to have her too. And then there's Sharon. Yeah. So, 20 years ago, we were doing this play called Wrens. It was written by our dear friend Anne McGravy, who's 89 and lives in Rogers Park, about her experience in World War II. The play takes place on the eve of VE Day, and it's sort of concerned with what happened to those women who were so excited to join the workforce because the men were all away at war, and what it was like for them to be told, thank you so much, the war's over, go back to work now. I mean, go back home, excuse me, put your aprons on. And some people like Anne were like, yeah, that doesn't sound so good, and she came to the United States. And we were doing our second round of that play at the Organic Theater, the wonderful, amazing Organic Theater over on Clark Street. Yeah, it was a great space. And we were in this bar, and these two lawyers, Marie Eitram and Allison, what the heck was Allison's last name? Paul, thank you. Allison Paul came up to us and said, hey, do you guys want to start a company? Do you want to, should we get your nonprofit for you? We'll take care of it. You need to have a board. And we were like, oh, okay. And they said, well, you need 3 board members. I'm like, oh, okay. Sharon, would you sign here? And Sharon's like, well, what do we have to do? I'm like, nothing, just sign here. Flash forward, 10 years into it, she's like, oh my God, I never wanted to have a theater company. How did this happen? Sharon has been with us from the very beginning. She has stood in puddles of water connecting 2 battery wires together because Elvia wanted to have a working sink. She has pulled aside curtains and shot bubbles in through the edges because Elvia wanted to have bubbles coming across the set. She sat in an opera house in Oxford, Mississippi, not being able to see the stage, and had a stage manager tell her she had to anticipate a cue, even though she couldn't see the stage, just by feeling it. She has funded us and been at our backs every step of the way, and truly, Rivendell would not be here today without Sharon Faria. So, them's our gala chairs, and I'll let Tim tell you about some of the other amazing people.
Thank you. So I want to start by just getting some thanks out of the way. First, our sponsors, Northern Trusts. I'm proud to say I work there. It's nice to know that some companies in Chicago are still funding arts and culture, just for the sake of funding it. So that's great. Open Text as well. 3 Arts, Kathy and Jack Lavin. And that's it for sponsors. But then we have got amazing donors and friends of Rivendell. Amazing Edibles, who provided the risotto bar. JC Sweets, Fig Catering, Lagunitas, Sharon Faria, thanks for the vino, and Warrior Vodka, who was here earlier doing tastings. All of the proceeds go to support veterans. So they have a Facebook page, but not a website yet. So yeah. And I just want to say, I became involved with Rivendell about 4.5 years ago. Saw a production of These Shining Lives. And really, it moved me, and I was excited about the work that the company was doing. I was excited about the mission of promoting women theater artists. And that's just not having women appear on stage, it's about having the ability to cultivate new playwrights, new directors, new designers, and have them tell stories through the female lens, through the female voice. And so we are always looking for supporters. We're looking always to grow our board. I have to put that plug in as the board chair. So if there are any of you just hankering for a board position, I would love to talk to you. So come find me. I have had no drink tonight, so I'm stone cold sober. So I can get you into the corner and make you sound like a document like Sharon Faria. And that's it. I just want to thank everybody. This has been a sold-out crowd. It's been amazingly successful. Thanks to our 3 amazing event co-chairs, Dawn, Elvia, and Sharon, and to all of you for coming and supporting Rivendell. So thank you very much.
So as I mentioned, Rivendell really began with Wrens. And there I have an amazing ensemble member and artist on her own named Jane Baxter Miller that I'd like to invite up, and she's going to sing you one of the key songs that was part of that production, I'll Be Seeing You.
Thank you, Tara. I thought there was going to be a piano here, but luckily you can get anything on your phone. So I got the C, and I could probably even find something on here to sing the song for you, but I'll try to do that myself. It's a really perky song too, Tara.
We like to cry at Rivendell.
I might have to take my glasses off. Wait, now I need my C again. Give me a bouncy C. Somebody, give me a... I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut tree, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is through, I'll be looking at the moon
really began our journey, and it formed who we were, both in terms of budgetary constraint and our love of doing things small and intimate, but also really taught us a lot about the kind of theater we wanted to make. And over the last 20 years, we have really honed in on plays that investigate how women navigate the work world, and plays that offer opportunity for female artists to work so that they can then be competitive on the job market because they've had a chance to hone their skills. And we've come kind of full circle. About 4 years ago, we wrote a grant to the Chicago Community Trust because I had decided that the next project that Rivendell wanted to do was about female veterans today, about working with women coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan and really hearing their stories. And I was lucky, truly blessed, that I had a partner at Rivendell, Megan Carney, who I'd like to invite up here right now.
Good evening, everyone. We are so excited that you are here. Thanks for being here. How many of you got to see Women at War when it was up in Edgewater? So you recognize these faces over here. This is the original cast in the house. Good to see you. So Women at War is an original play, and it's based on true stories that a whole team of artists worked to collect over the past 5 years. And it took some time, because it takes some time to build relationships to get people to tell you stories that actually mean something, right? I mean, you can walk up to anyone and say, so tell me what happened when blah, 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 and they'll tell you something, but they might not tell you the real story. So we took our time, and we built relationships, and we made this play. And there's like 70 or so different voices woven together into these 8 characters that tell the story that we hoped would capture experiences that a lot of women were talking about, of what it was like to enlist, why they enlisted, and what it's been like since they came back. And by asking those 2 questions, these women filled in all the points in between. And they talked to us about their families and where they came from and their schooling, and they talked to us about deployment and what it was like and the experiences they had overseas. And then really what it's like coming back. And we wanted to, as civilians, to really look at that, you know. And from the beginning, we knew we needed the right people in the room. And that kind of brings us to talking about Willa Taylor. Yeah, because, you know, military culture, are there veterans in the house? Hello! Yes. It's an alternate culture, right? There's different language, different rituals, different rites of passage. There's a whole other language to learn. And we were civilian artists trying to learn that. And, you know, Willa is an artist who knows theater inside and out, like theater in her bones, and is a veteran. And Willa was able to step in with us and say, first, yes, you should do this, and yes, how can I help? And that made all the difference in the world.
Six years ago. 6 years ago, when we did our first rendition of it, Willa sponsored this event that we did in this hot firehouse that we called the Trojan Women Project. And she was there going, yep, this is important. Keep on going. Keep doing it. So she's been there with us the whole way. Yeah.
So, you know, and I was trying to think, getting ready to come up here, I was like, when did I even meet Willa? Because I think that, you know, making a life in the theater, and making a life in the theater when you care about social justice, and when you care about education, you know, that's not, I mean, theater alone, it's not an easy path. And then when you're trying to have an impact in these other ways, where there are all these other barriers, it gets harder, you know? And I don't remember when I met you, because I think in my, like, constellation of experiences, like, you've always been there for me. Which I'm just saying about is, like, your magnificence, you know what I mean? So, so it's really an honor to give you this tribute. I want to say some of the specific things about Willa's up to these days at the Goodman Theater, where she is the Director of Education and Community Engagement. And I know there's a lot of Goodman crew in the house. Good to see you The Willa Taylor fan club is wide and deep. Here's a couple of things going on at the Goodman that you know, is just beyond what you might expect of what's happening in an education and community engagement program. A student subscription series, now that's been happening for 28 years, but what Willa and her team are doing are building this social justice curriculum and bringing in teachers and working with teachers about how to take the messages back into the classrooms in really authentic ways. They're running this program called Intergens that's getting seniors and teens together. Where else is that happening in our culture? And those conversations are so critical. There's a program called Divergent Discourse, using storytelling and theater practices to build capacity in social service organizations. They've been working with Chicago Legal Advocacy for Incarcerated Mothers. This is big work, and this is really important work, and all of us who believe in theater know that theater can do this work in ways that nothing else can. And when it came to women at war and turning around to say who can be there, and we thought of Willa, and she stood up and said yes, is why we thought of her tonight.
Yeah, great. So you say it.
So, I thought I was passing it on.
No, you're calling her up.
So, you know, Willa was our first facilitator, and Willa asked the big questions and helped us build the credibility to make this project happen. That's still ongoing and still has a life. So, Willa, we're really honored to celebrate you tonight, and come on up. We want to give you this Ren Award.
No, you're not. So I thought I'd try to be cool and a little younger than I actually am, so I put all my notes on my phone, except I didn't realize how small the type would be. So now I can't really see what my notes are. First of all, I want to thank you, Tara and Megan, and all of the board of Rivendell, all of the ensemble, for this very generous honor. Frankly, I don't know why you thought of me. I mean, I can look out in this room and I can see dozens of women who are more deserving, who are, yes, who are more fierce, who are more incredible and more deserving of this honor than I am. If I'm getting this because of whatever minute part that I played in the shaping of women in war, then I am honored to represent the dozens of voices and the thousands of voices of women veterans who are silent, for the women who cannot be there. I'm a very proud Navy vet, and I'm very proud of the ocean, and I'm very proud to have served my country. That service is often difficult. It is especially difficult for hundreds of thousands of women today who not just are service members, but are the wives and sisters and mothers and daughters of people who sacrifice time with loved ones and put their loved ones, know that their loved ones are in harm's way, serving a country where women still make 77 cents on the dollar. For men, where all of the victims, female victims of sexual assault and abuse, are disbelieved when they dare to speak up. And when motherhood, which has got to be, without a doubt, the hardest job in the world, isn't valued nearly as much in this society as making the cover of Entertainment Weekly. If I'm receiving this award because of the work I do on behalf of equity and access for women and girls in the arts, then I happily accept this for Brandy and Kristen Zoe and Lucia and Elizabeth and Alex and Ellen, all the young girls that I've had the pleasure to watch grow into these dynamic, fierce, talented, strong, polished, powerful women. And for all of those who have not yet found their voices and not yet found who they are, I hope that whatever I do in my professional life leads them to know how brilliantly vibrant and needed their talents, their skills, and their voices are in the struggles for justice, beauty, and peace. No matter the reason that I'm getting this, I love awards. No matter the reason that I'm getting this, I have to really acknowledge the men and the women who helped get me this far. Of course, my family, whose unconditional love always made it possible for me to fly very high because I knew that falling would be very soft. All of the teachers that I had, especially Miss Martha Hayes, who convinced me to do the very first play that I was ever in that I got paid for. To the women that I served with and under while I was in the Navy, whose trust and truth and integrity surrounded and protected me when I was far from home and in harm's way. To Zelda Fitchandler, my boss at Urbina, who gave me this calling in social justice arts. And to my Mary, whose love and laughter lightens my heart even on the darkest day. I would be remiss, though, if I didn't thank a woman named Leslie Jacobson. A short, manic woman with a crazy laugh, a huge heart, and the contents of an entire prop shop always in the back of her car. Leslie founded Horizons Theater in Washington, D.C., the oldest continually producing women's theater in the country. Leslie and the women of Horizons taught me how to build sets, break down risers, run a light board, design a soundscape, be a good stage manager, keep a show running, and just about everything else that I know about theater. Horizons, just like Rivendell, is a place that is committed to lifting and celebrating the voices and the experiences of women. It's theaters like these, theaters like Rivendell and like Horizons, that go underfunded, underappreciated, and undervalued far too often just because they're small. But it's theaters like Horizons and Rivendell where women get a chance to discover talents they never knew they had, develop skills that they didn't know they could do, and hear stories and tell stories that they feared to share. These theaters gave me and hundreds of women like me a chance to shine, to make art, and to change the world. And so thanks to Horizons for putting me on the path that led me here today. Thanks to Rivendell for continuing to honor and celebrate women and our stories. And thanks to all of you for supporting companies like this.